Hey, my name is Tom, and how in the world these things, I'll share with you in a second, are not widely discussed. These things that make Palantir a massive candidate to go from 30 billion to $1 trillion valuation, and yet somehow nobody talks about this. I just don't understand. Now in this video, I'm not going to regurgitate things I've talked about for the past 2 years, the great balance sheet, the stickiness, the terrific product. I'm going to let other people do that. I'm going to talk about things, major things that make Palantir great and give it a chance of going to that $1 trillion valuation. Now, is it certain? Hell no. There's nothing certain in life anyways, except death and taxes and grandpa being crazy. But that's it. But do they got a shot? Yes, especially with what I'm about to show you right now. Now look, Palantir, for the most part, is a company that was out the limelight. Nobody talked about them until they went public. They DPO'd, and all of a sudden, everybody wants a piece of that. And while I was the only one, pretty much, making Palantir videos when they were down, now the spotlight is back on this company. And the question a lot of you are wondering, is this for real or is this part of the hype? Because there's no doubting this. We are in the middle of a hype cycle for AI. This is quasi 2000. In the dot-com bubble, there were a lot of great companies, a lot of great tech, but a lot of free riders. So the question is Palantir for real or not? How can you tell? And that's the question you should be asking yourself, more than anything else. So let me answer this very, very clearly. For the past 20 years, Palantir, ahead of everybody, was developing AI products for the government, and then for Airbus for the past 7 years. Products that have no room for mistakes. Products that were battlefield tested. Products, AI products, that if they make a mistake, people die. Literally. On the battlefield, in an airline. These industries and these environments have no room for mistakes. So this is a company that's dedicated hundreds of billions of dollars of R&D into building AI products that cannot make mistakes, at least not often, and at least not big ones. Name another company that did that for the past 20 years. I don't think you can. Now, the second thing I want you to understand is the fact that their government business, the business that everybody likes to kick and bash, as if it's some sort of a dead weight the company's carrying. Now people are starting to understand how big it is. The world isn't this nice oyster it was 4 years ago. Things have changed between COVID, the European situation, Ukraine, Taiwan, China, you name it. I'm just getting warmed up. It's going more chaotic by the minute. Which company has solutions for these types of environments? While everybody else were the piglets who didn't prepare, Palantir is that piglet who bought the brick house. Or rather built that brick house. And now everybody's trying to get in. Now, it's not like Palantir is sitting there and saying, oh yes, thank you, the world is going to crap, that's exactly what we wanted. No, but they were warning you. And they're the only ones who actually built solutions that are fitted to this, instead of this kumbaya around the campfire, hugging trees. This is the real world, where people die, where things happen, where evil people exist. And Palantir is actually offering you a solution. Nobody's saying that the US government is perfect. Nobody's saying that they're angels who are only doing kind things, Care Bears. No. Everybody's an asshole. But these assholes are way better than those assholes. And I'm telling you from first-hand knowledge. You do not want to live in China or Russia. Believe me. So these guys, even though they're assholes, they're protecting your freedoms of being able to say and do whatever you want, work whatever job you want, live whatever you want. You cannot do these things when you go over there. Try to criticize a president in one of them countries. See what happens to you. So as much as you think that the government is evil and that the United States is warmongering and it's meddling, yeah, but the other guys are much worse. And I'm okay with Palantir being on the right side of history. And if you got a problem with that, don't invest, no issues. But for me, this is where it's perfect. They're doing something that's important to me, I morally agree with, and they're going to make a shit ton of money, helping the United States and the West stay up front. I'm totally fine with that. And if you're not, go right ahead, invest in different companies. I don't care. But to me, it's massive. Now, going back to the commercial business, if you think that the total addressable market for the government is big, think about the AI world. Everybody's now talking about large language models, LLMs. That's the future. Now, Palantir doesn't care who wins this battle. That's the crazy part. They're selling you the shovels. It's a gold rush, and Palantir are really the shovel sellers. They'll take whatever LLM you got, whoever wins this battle, and they'll use that to upgrade your company, to upgrade your performance, just like they did with Airbus. 33% faster production of the A350, the flagship plane, millions of parts. So they're agnostic to who wins this battle between the AI wars, which makes them a perfect candidate to benefit from this, whoever wins the AI battle. Now, here's the crazy part about this. People are still saying that Palantir is a consultancy. For the love of God, no consultancy is operating at 80% gross margin. Check me on this. This should have been put to bed a long time ago. People are saying Palantir is expensive. Sure, it's not cheap at 16 price to sales, but look at Snowflake. It's trading at 24 price to sales. I mean, can you really say it's that expensive? To me, it's not. To me, it's investable. People talking about institutional shareholding is low at 35%, and I agree with that. It's not as high as it should be. It should be around the 60s, but it's up 75% over the past 3 years. It's getting better. People talk about dilution. Yes, it's a problem, but it's getting slower. Now, what am I doing here with Palantir? So for me, Palantir is a great company to hold for the next 20 years. That doesn't mean I'm going to be blindly buying every time the price spikes, because recently that's what happened. I have a system, and that system is very, very simple. I'm dollar cost averaging into Palantir based on the threshold amount. I'm looking at Palantir, and I'm looking at what was the 52-week high for the stock. The 52-week high for this stock was $70.16, 17.16. What's the amount that's 10% below that? It's $15.44. That's my threshold amount. Anytime the stock price goes above that threshold amount, I'm dollar cost averaging slower. Every time it goes below that amount, I'm dollar cost averaging faster. That's called dollar cost averaging using a weighted average. Basically, what you're doing is you're creating a cost base over the course of a few years that's way lower to the bottom of the stock during that time than to the top, without trying to guess the market, without emotions, without all this fluff, without FOMO or anxiety or panic. You're taking out emotions out of the game, and you're using discipline, a system, and a process to mathematically ensure you have a low-cost basis in the stock. And if you did pick out the right company, which I have confidence in Palantir being so, then you should be fine. Now, Palantir isn't the world's only company. In fact, it's not the only company in my portfolio. You want to be able to diversify, to build a bulletproof portfolio for the next 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, 25 years, whatever it is you have until your retirement. And the way to do it is locating, identifying, evaluating, and dollar cost averaging into great companies slowly over time using a discipline, a system, a process with no emotions. If you want to learn more about how to use this process, this is literally what I'm teaching on my Patreon. There's no stock tips. There's no, oh, buy this company, sell this company. I'm teaching you the method, the system of how to do it yourself. Patreon.com/Tom Nash. Check out my Patreon. There's a few tiers there. Recently, we set up a new tier called Tom's Academy. There's 2 spots left for the quickest 2. We would love to have you on board. We're currently on lesson number 4, so you can quickly catch up. I'll see you there. And if you just want to join for the $5 tier and get to be a part of our community, our amazing Discord, we're a Tesla room, our Palantir room, our unbelievable community, check it out. We'd love to see you there. All Patreon memberships get a 30-day money-back guarantee, no questions asked. Try it out for 30 days, didn't like it, money back. Try it out for 29 days, didn't like it, money back. You get the point. See you in the next video.